What up, world? Welcome back to the Av. YOLO Av. The Av. YOLO. YOLO Av. YOLO. The Av. YOLO Av. On this installment of the Av, we're going to be discussing what's your quadrant of operation to generate income in your life. Quadrant? What are we talking about? That zone one? I don't know, man. It sounds like this cat's on some military stuff now. I don't really know what's up this week. To elaborate further as to what I mean by the quadrant you're operating in, you might have seen this before. This refers to the cash flow quadrant, a concept created by the author Robert Kiyosaki. He's also the writer of the Rich Dad Poor Dad series you may have heard of. New York Times bestseller and all that good stuff. Man, we read a book last week. Can't he move on? I'm saying. It's called YOLO Av, right? Yeah. So why is up in here looking like Reading Rainbow 2.0? Before you get too excited, we're not going to go too deep into the books. We really want to discuss the concepts of the cash flow quadrant and what that means. Now, in order to explain that better, I'm going to go further into the background of the philosophies of where it came from. For those of you who don't know, the Rich Dad Poor Dad book is all about financial literacy. Robert Kiyosaki, who is a New York Times best-selling author for his book, again, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he's also a businessman, a self-help author, a motivational speaker, and obviously a financial literacy advocate. It's all about educating people on their finances because the general education system, especially public education, doesn't spend as much time focusing on finances as they should. Now again, at another time, we'll get more in depth in one of our Hitting the Book series, and we'll discuss more about Rich Dad Poor Dad. Right now, we're talking about the concepts and principles behind the cash flow quadrant. On the left side of the quadrant, you have the B game. On the right side of the quadrant is the A game. That's where you want to be. To elaborate on what these all mean, first, what most people partake of is going to be the B game. You see here E, which is going to stand for employee, probably living paycheck to paycheck. The principal fundamentals behind the E quadrant for employees means that they value security, what's perceived as safety in a much more secure market. These are the people who want a guaranteed paycheck and they're trading time for dollars. With that, employees have a high value on security. So they value benefits. They value structure. Someone to tell them where to be, when to be there, what to do, for how long. After 40 to 50 years, most employees expect retirements, pensions, or 401k investments to cash out on. One particular thing to remember about the employee quadrant is that it's the highest taxed form of income. If you're an employee, you are getting hit the hardest possible when it comes to Uncle Sam getting his money, even on the higher pay scales. Also, sharing on the left quadrants, or the B side of the game, are those of us who are self-employed. What that means, they're still trading their time for dollars, but they've gotten rid of the boss to take on the business themselves. These people like to enjoy control, being rewarded for their efforts. People operating out of the S quadrant, self-employed, is typically going to include doctors, lawyers, consultants. The big thing to remember when operating out of the S quadrant is that you are your business. If you decide you want to reap the rewards of your financial gains, take a 6-week vacation. Your business goes on vacation as well. So keep that in mind when your clients, your contracts, even your invoices that are outstanding to be paid have made no progress whatsoever while you leave. Now, for the right side, this is what we call the A game. You have here to start the B quadrant. The B quadrant is referred to business, more along the lines of big business. This is considered when you bring in up to 500 employees or more, And now at this point, as a business owner, instead of exchanging your own time for dollars, you hire high-ranking executives who run your business, and you're exchanging people for dollars. You let large or small numbers of people work to make your money. Businesses from small scale to large scale all use this principle to generate income. And then finally, on the left side, the A game, is the I quadrant for investors. The I quadrant removes all the work whatsoever. At this point, you're literally letting your money work for you. This goes anywhere from real estate, startup companies, IPOs, initial public offerings, obviously stocks, as well as foreign exchange. This quadrant obviously is the most efficient way of generating income, as well the most lucrative. However, the things to remember is that it requires capital. You can't invest if you have no money. So there you have it. This simple diagram covers 4 ways across the board that everyone you know, human beings, are going about their daily lives and generating their income. They're either on the left side in the B game with the E, employee quadrant, and the S, self-employed quadrant. On the right side, the A game, you have your business owners and investors. Now, it may seem simple. That's because it's meant to be. It really isn't that complex. But something to keep in mind is the way the income is generated from each quadrant and also from each side. If you look at your finances and how you're creating your streams of income, you may be actively on the left side in the B game working to get your money. Just meaning that no matter what, you're using your time traded for your dollars. No matter how. As an employee, you have a job, a boss gives you a paycheck, or a company in most cases. If you're self-employed, you are the boss, which again is great. But that also means you're accountable for your business's ups and downs, still trading time for dollars. Wealth is created through duplication, one way or another. When you can make money in your sleep, passively, then you're really generating some serious cash flow. Again, business owners are using their business, a duplicatable system, and employing people from the left side, the B game, to make their business model run and generate income for them, day and night, or between the hours of operation, obviously. Investors, pretty much the financial elite. At this point, you've already made it. Now you're in the phase where you can master your finances, make your money, make money for you. Each quadrant has its own pros and its own cons, as you can see. Employees, obviously the benefit of security, even if some job markets really don't make security possible, is a good thing to fall back on. Knowing that you can follow simple instruction for as long as you're willing to commit, and you can expect income. However, the employee quadrant is the highest taxed form of income possible. The self-employed, taking control of your life, being rewarded for your own hard work. Some people prefer this. Not calling anybody a boss, deciding when you come into work, all great perks. Just keep in mind, whenever you step away and check out, your business checks out right along with you. Unless, of course, you're actually operating on the right side, the A game, as a business owner. If you've employed people to duplicate the process, you're a business owner. You have a system. The B quadrant is using people to create income. This quadrant enjoys the most advantageous tax benefits because all your expenses are practically tax write-offs. The cons of this side is it does require people. A business is a system of duplication. Without the duplication, you don't have a business. The I quadrant, again, the most efficient and lucrative. Most investors are out enjoying their money around the world. Meanwhile, to even get started in the I quadrant, you have to have capital ready to invest. That about wraps things up for this session of the AV and our discussion of the cash flow quadrant. I'll check you guys next week. Hope you enjoyed the improvements to the channel. 1080! And in the meantime, make sure, as always, drop your comments, like the video, share it with all your friends, family, and anybody who you care enough to let them benefit. Make sure you go down there and subscribe. Until next week, I wish you success. Peace.